everyone, this is Paige Evans and thanks for joining me today. I want to share this layout that I created for the spring issue of Scrapbook and Cards Today Magazine featuring stitching. So in the Silhouette Design Store, this is the cut file that I'm going to use. Instead of cutting it, I'm going to draw it, but it's by Dear Lizzie and you can see the design ID number right there. So in a new Silhouette Studio document, 12 by 12, or whatever size you would like, find this cut file. So it's Dear Lizzie floral card, and this is the size it comes when it gets transplanted into a new design. So ungroup it, and then I just wanted to get rid of that outside border, regroup it, and then size it to the height, just a little bit smaller. So what, it's at 11.4 inches or so. And then we want to draw this instead of cut it. So adjust the cut settings and change it to Silhouette Sketch Pen. I'm using the pen tool and putting in a pencil instead of a pen or the blade. And it draws the design onto whatever paper you choose. So I used white cardstock. And then I poked a hole every 1/4 inch or so, maybe a little less, to get ready for stitching. So the machine can make holes, but I think that they're too close together for me, and I've torn paper doing that. So that's why I poked the holes by hand. And then I erased any remaining pencil lines so that it wasn't visible, just in case my thread didn't cover the pencil. I picked threads to coordinate with the Maggie Holmes Gather collection, whole bunch of threads because there's a whole bunch of beautiful colors. And now I am doing a simple back stitch around all of the designs. So I'm doing all the leaves first using a few different colors of green thread, and then moving on to the flowers. So I'm using a few different shades of pinks and orangey reds to stitch the flowers. Here's just a progress shot. And I wear the gloves to protect my fingers. That helps make it not hurt. And filling in some of the other flowers with yellow and the little dots with blue. So it's really colorful and I love how it matches the Gather collection. So the last stitch, this probably took about 5 hours. And I watched Project Runway while I was stitching, so that was fun. Always a good excuse to catch up on reality TV while you're stitching and the kids are at school. I debated whether or not to color this in, and in the end, obviously you can see I decided to fill in the flowers and leaves with matching watercolors, and I think it really helps make the page come alive and make it really colorful. So I tried to mix colors to match the color of thread that I used. So this is kind of a darker ochre yellow, and I just do that with every color of thread that I used and paint inside the shapes. And I like how the thread kind of keeps the watercolors in, so you don't have to be very careful. I mean, you do have to be careful, but not like super careful when you're painting inside, because the thread holds the watercolor inside the shape. So that's neat. The green that I mixed up right there was a little too vibrant, so I'm toning it down with just a tad of brown. So go ahead and finish watercoloring. I wanted to make these leaves a little bit darker to match the darker color of green that I used. And then it's time to add the photo, embellishments, title, all of that. So I chose a picture of my daughter Jane from our road trip down to Italy, and I typed the journaling on the photo in Adobe Photoshop and then printed it out and trimmed it. So I could have used a typewriter to type the journaling on there after the fact, but I didn't want to mess it up. I knew if I did it in Photoshop, I could fix any spelling errors right then and there. I've cut apart this transparency floral die cut, including the center, which now becomes my title of Gather Memories. And at this point, I am just layering away, trying to draw the attention into the picture and create a cluster right down there so that, yes, your eye goes to the flowers, but then it mostly stays around the picture and journaling and title. I'm using all supplies from Maggie Holmes Gather, crepe paper, and just a little bit of embellishing does the trick. So I hope you are inspired to try stitching and watercoloring, making a spring-themed layout, and thank you so much for watching. I will be back very soon.